Continuing to watch our top story here on John Bachman Now. Welcome back. As you probably have heard, FBI agents executed a search warrant at Trump's Mar-a-Lago home. The raid took part yesterday for hours, and it was over 15 boxes from the National Archives that are under question right now. Investigation into whether or not some of those materials may have been classified. Many historians today are calling this the most aggressive law enforcement action ever conducted against a former president, and lots of reaction continues to pour in.
Well, folks want to know if President Trump actually had declassified information or classified information inside his home. We also want to talk about this 2017 PolitiFact article, which looked at this issue. There's a law professor named Stephen Vladek. He works at the University of Texas Law School, and he said this back in 2017, quote, "There's no question that the president has broad authority to declassify almost anything at any time without any process." While the story continues to develop, this isn't the first time, of course, President Trump's been blamed for doing something like this. Vladek spoke with PolitiFact. The Washington Post at the same time was accusing President Trump of revealing highly classified information to the Russian foreign minister and ambassador during a White House meeting. For more insight on this, let's welcome in Harvard Law School Professor Emeritus and Newsmax analyst Alan Dershowitz. Professor Dershowitz, great to have you with us.
Well, thank you so much. This is a sad day for the Constitution, a sad day for the neutrality of law enforcement. There was such a simple way around this. They could have subpoenaed the 15 boxes and the content of the safe. Then a judge could have gone through every document and say, this was never classified, this was classified but declassified, this has a privilege, either executive privilege or lawyer-client privilege. Instead, they swooped down and just seized everything, and there's no judicial intervention to see whether the seizure is proper. That's why this is the first time in American history this has been done. It didn't happen when my friends, Sandy Berger, who was then National Security Advisor before that, and Hillary Clinton, misused classified information. Usually the result of that is an administrative fine, not a criminal proceeding, and certainly not a search. Now, there may be more to it than that. Maybe we'll find out more. Burden of proof is now on Garland and Wray to come forward and justify and explain what they did.
Yeah, you know, Sandy Berger got a $50,000 fine. He lost his law license. But the other thing, too, that we got to, bring into this equation is Sandy Berger wasn't the president of the United States, and certain things that the president can do, other people can't do. The other thing, too, I thought of you almost immediately when I heard about this, Professor Dershowitz, because something you've talked to us about so much is the reciprocity that tends to follow from something like this. And what's your concern on that front now?
Well, I wrote a whole book about it. It's called The Price of Principle. It just came out. And it's all about what happens when you establish precedent on one side, when you don't pass the shoe on the other foot test. Today, it's used against a former Republican president. But I guarantee you, when the Republicans take over, as inevitably they will, it'll be used against Joe Biden when he's the former president. As precedents once established lie around like loaded guns, ready to be weaponized and used by both sides. That's what's so wrong with this. That's why, although I'm a liberal Democrat who voted against Donald Trump twice, I am appalled by this. I think all Democrats and Republicans should be. Of course, the world is divided into three groups. There are the anti-Trump haters, anything goes. Lawrence Tribe, you can just put the Constitution aside, tear it up as long as it gets Trump. That's fine. He's the guy who wanted to indict Trump for attempted murder of Pence. Then you get the pro-Trump people. Trump can do no wrong no matter what. Then you get the vast majority of centrist, normal, American, neutral people who want to see the law applied fairly and equally.
And we're seeing this more and more. You use the word weaponization. People are saying that now with this Inflation Reduction Bill, the expansion of the IRS and the powers there. Professor Dershowitz, there is due process, isn't there, in our nation? There is presumption of innocence, isn't there? This kind of erodes a lot of things legally that we believe as citizens, president, or just regular folks have the right to.
Well, people in the hard left don't believe in any of those things. It's presumption of innocence for me, but not for thee. Due process for me, but not for thee. Free speech for me, but not for thee. In my book, The Price of Principle, I go over and over again all these stories of a double standard applied by one party to the other. When I was growing up, it was the right wing, Senator McCarthy, who was applying a double standard. Then it became the extreme left wing today on universities, for example. There's no due process for people on the right only due process for people on the left. And where's the American Civil Liberties Union? It's dead in the water. It's on the wrong side of these issues. I have a whole section in my book on the death of the ACLU. Who is protecting our civil liberties?
Nowhere. Where is the ACLU on something like this? And Professor Dershowitz, another thing too, I think we got to talk about here, going back to something that we asked Kari Lake. You know, the FBI notoriously tight-lipped. They don't divulge a lot of information about ongoing investigations, but aren't we owed something more, a statement at least, some sort of clarification from the FBI on why they thought this was a necessary move? This is the former president of the United States.
Much more than just a simple statement. We need a full explanation with Q&A. And yeah, if they can do it to the president, they can do it to you, they can do it to me, they can do it to all of our viewers. Right. That's what's so dangerous here. I think it was H.L. Mencken who says, if you're a civil libertarian, you have to defend SOBs, because first they come after the SOBs, and then they apply those principles to the rest of us. So we have to defend people we hate, and we have to defend people we disagree with. I've been going through a whole process here on Martha's Vineyard where the public library canceled me as a speaker because
this issue with you, Professor Dershowitz, you know, all the American public expects is equal application of the law to all persons, and that does not appear to be happening, especially with this Justice Department. We thank you for your time, Professor Dershowitz. We'll have to cut it off there. Always great to talk to you and get your insights.
Thank you.
J.P. Morgan's CEO is warning that an economic hurricane is coming. Are you preparing? If you don't do anything, your 401k could be a 201k, and that is not good. So call our trusted friends at Lear Capital. For 25 years, Lear has helped investors own gold to protect against market chaos. It's a good thing. They can help you too. Get your information and up to $15,000 in bonus IRA gold. Just call this number, 800-880-4300. That's 800-880-4300.